Okay, so in this video, I will be showing the installation, configuration, and testing out a DNS server on this virtual machine here, the Windows Server virtual machine. So what a DNS, a domain name system uh, service would do is it will allow for the translation of human readable domain names into uh, machine readable IP addresses. So somebody doesn't have to remember an IP address, they just need to know the domain name to access a machine. Or do the reverse, which is a machine has a IP address and they'll be able to provide the user with the corresponding uh, domain name that they can use. So to start, the installation will be done here, adding roles and features, selecting a role-based installation, selecting the server, and then selecting DNS server here. I installed it because I've left it installed because frankly, every time I uninstall it and attempt reconnection, it causes significant issues with the client. And right now, I know what to demonstrate. So after this, you'll just select all the default options and then press install, and then you'll be on to configuration. Right, so here we would have the DNS. So how the DNS service would work is you'll have access to forward lookup zones and reverse lookup zones. Forward lookup zones will be the database with records for mapping the domain names to the IP addresses. So if you enter a record there and you then enter a domain name, it will go to the forward lookup zone to find the corresponding IP address and go brave. So tools, DNS, and here we have the server name here, Windows Server, and then we have our forward lookup zones, right? So this, oh, screw it. All right. So here we have this from a previous task, marc.com, a domain that I was able to create. So I'm just going to make another one, right? Because I don't want to mess up anything I have here. So to start, I'll go to new zone, click next, primary zone, and select a new domain in this forest. So what I'm going to do is call this testzone.com. Okay, dynamic updates, right, forward lookup zone, testzone.com. Right, so we have testzone.com, and now I'm going to create a record in testzone.com. So here we have the state of authority and name server record, so those are already put in place. And these just basically mean that this machine has the authority to create records, and the name server just indicates the location of where the records will be saved. So these are always left here, but I'll be adding a new host, and I will just call this Win10. And right now, the Windows 10, which is using the DHCP to get this address, I'm just going to leave it as is. 201. And yeah, well, I'll just leave it as is. All right, cool. So finally, I will show with command prompt. All right. So here we have a ping for the IP address 201, which is the Windows 10 client. All right, successful ping. So now, instead of this, I'm going to enter win10.testzone.com. And when I do this, the machine will go to the DNS server and will be able to pull up the corresponding IP address. And it will be just the same. Right. Okay, so here, right, domain name, IP address. Oops, sorry. All right, sorry about that. Okay. So I have set up two others as an example. So we have test zone here, Windows 10, is what I showed before. I set up a server.testzone.com to allow the other client to ping, allow the Windows 10 client to ping the server. All right, that's shown here. Okay. This is working from client to server, so the network is running. And I also made a CNAME record that will call alias1. That will basically be a substitute name, an alternative name for Windows 10, win10.testzone. So if I were to go to this alias1, right, right. So by pinging this, it automatically goes to your real domain name. Right, so that is my example of the DNS server up and running and creating records for this database.